Welcome back. All right, so some news of the day for all you fine people. Of course, the trade that went down. I've already done a separate video on that. And what's interesting to me is the attachment that Toffoli has to certain players on the team in Calgary. So he and Milan Lucic reunited. They played together in LA. And of course, there's various Canucks that he's reunited with as well. Toffoli, the learning curve you might get on a new team might be a little easier for him because there are so many players familiar with him. So, looking at their depth chart, and this is not necessarily how the lines look, but what Calgary has now up front is impressive. So you have Gaudreau, Lindholm, Tkachuk. Excellent first line there. Mangiapane, Backlund, Coleman, which is now starting to play at home the way they were on the road. Dubé, Monahan, and Toffoli likely goes onto that line, but if Toffoli ends up on the second line with Mangiapane and Backlund, Coleman drops to the third line. You have so many options, and then your fourth line is Lucic, Ruzicka, and Lewis. Honestly, 4 very good lines in Calgary. They'd pretty much be set at that point. I think that adding maybe a depth defenseman, there's really nothing more you need to do up front. Brad Treliving getting out ahead of the market or setting the market, whichever way you want to look at it. I think it's a smart move. I think the asking price is going to go up for certain players. Of course, currently trending on the Twitter machine is JT Miller, because as soon as Canuck fans see this, they're like, we got to trade Miller now. So, yeah, we shall see how things go for Calgary. But on the surface of it, this is a trade that benefits them immediately. And, yeah, we'll see how much benefit this provides. Washington news, TJ Oshie will not be traveling with the team. They have 2 road games this week. They're at Nashville tomorrow, and then on Thursday they're at Philadelphia. So it looks like Oshie's going to be out for probably at least another week. Hoping he comes back soon, though, because it does make a big difference for the Washington Capitals having him in the lineup rather than not. Speaking of players not returning to the lineup yet, the Philadelphia Flyers, there were rumors about Derrick Broussard and when he'd return, and that maybe it was close. But it looks like his hip is still bothering him. And again, we've seen with hockey players, if you have problems with your hip, it really affects your ability to skate, your ability to go out there and play hockey. And so his return at this point is indefinite. Like he's working on it, he's strengthening himself, but when he's actually going to be good to go and come back to the lineup, they just don't know at this point. So we shall see. And in the similar vein is Jonathan Toews. Jonathan Toews dealing with a concussion. He's been working out in Chicago. They're not sure. When asked, the coach wasn't sure whether or not he was actually skating. Or whether he's just doing the workouts. The workouts will keep him in shape, but the skating will keep him in game shape, right? So, yeah, Toews, it's unknown when his return's going to come. It does give an opportunity for other players to maybe play a more prominent role. Maybe this gets Doc on a roll. Maybe, Strome can really take this and run with it. So we shall see with Toews how long he's going to be out. And for the Nashville Predators, Cousins is seen as week to week. It's a lower body injury for him, so he'll be out for a while, week to week. And I always say this, that means to me it's at least 2 weeks, more than likely a month, but we shall see. If you watched the women's hockey last night, Yvonne watched part of the Canada versus Switzerland, and I was like, how's it going? And she said, this is just sad, because and she said that, and then Canada scored again. So it's going to be Canada and the U.S. in the gold medal game on Wednesday night. It'll be on late. I don't think I'm staying up to watch that one because Thursdays are busy days in the NHL, and there's other video stuff I have to do on Thursday morning. So Canada-US for the gold again, and this is where that debate comes up, and I've seen the arguments about how this shouldn't be at the Olympics. I don't really think whether or not women's hockey's at the Olympics is that big of a deal. Canada can win a bunch of medals in men's hockey too. And that's the debate, right? But at any rate, it's Finland and Switzerland in the bronze medal game. I'm kind of rooting for Switzerland in that just because I think that'd be kind of a fun medal to see awarded. And again, if that were to take place, the Swiss women can go home with the medal, and, it increases interest, you would think, for women's hockey in that country. But yeah, so Canada and the U.S., the worst kept secret in the Olympics. They're both pretty good when it comes to the women's hockey. So, Thomas Chabot. Bruce Garrick's reporting that he's doubtful for tomorrow's game for the Ottawa Senators. He took a hit from Tom Wilson on Sunday. It was a clean hit, but it was one of those ones where he really drilled him. So with Chabot, we'll see how long he's out. If it's doubtful for tomorrow, hopefully it's not a long-term. Hopefully it's just a day-to-day kind of thing. But if Chabot's out for the Ottawa Senators, that hurts them at a time where they've honestly been playing some of their best hockey this season. Not always getting the wins, but they've been playing some of their best hockey. So we shall see with Ottawa missing their best defenseman and a key defenseman who can play 30 minutes a night. We'll see how they do without him tomorrow. So Vegas making news in that Greg Wyshynski reporting that sources, and this was on ESPN as well, saying that Eichel could be good to go as soon as Wednesday against Colorado. That is a national broadcast as well. So Vegas, liking the pomp and circumstance, might enjoy having Eichel's first game for the Vegas Golden Knights on nationwide TV. Or he may start Friday against the LA Kings. Now, there is the cap space issue. Currently, according to Cap Friendly, they have $5,738,333 in cap space because Martinez is still on LTIR. So Martinez, it's $5.25 million. Now, before Eichel got there, when the Vegas Golden Knights were healthy, they weren't able to put a full team on the ice because of Martinez's cap hit, and just altogether it was high, and so you end up having to play one player short. When Martinez comes back, which apparently will be after Eichel's return, it's kind of a nightmare. At this point, with a little over $5 million, they need to make room for, because you're bringing in $10 million, you got to move somebody out. It's workable for Vegas. It becomes more uncomfortable when Martinez is ready to return. So they don't need to, put anybody on Robidas Island at this point or anything like that. At this point, Eichel, if he's ready to go on Wednesday, it's just going to involve making about $5 million in cap space room, and it's not going to be all that easy, but it's not going to be as much of a headache, as I said, as when Martinez is ready to return. That's where I would look for trades. With the trade market opening up today, where the Flames and the Canadiens have made a deal, maybe we see somebody make a deal with Vegas. You acquire a future asset in exchange for helping them out of their cap problem. And then we see Eichel on the ice with the Vegas Golden Knights, which should be a lot of fun. Eichel is one of the most talented forwards in the league. He just hasn't played in a long time. I don't think he's felt right when he has played. Most recently, which was, of course, last season. The funny part of that was that when we knew something was up with Eichel and the team was coming out and saying he's fine, and then a couple weeks later they're like, yeah, no, he's not fine. And then, of course, the argument began about what to do with his condition. So there will be eyeballs on Eichel because he is the first player to come back from the disc replacement surgery rather than getting spinal fusion done. Of course, Tyler Johnson for Chicago will be coming back relatively soon as well from the same surgery. But it was Eichel who was the pioneer that started it. And so we will keep an eye on him, not just for the cap reasons, but to see how well does he play? How does he look when he comes out? Because if he comes out and plays really, really well, and if he has a really strong second half of the season for the Vegas Golden Knights, the next time that a player is looking at what he needs to do and he's got a neck problem, he may look at Eichel and say, well, it worked for Jack. I'm willing to take a shot at that myself. So we shall see. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.